Hey, what's going on, crowdfunding fans? It's the brain of the mainframe, Nle Scala here, with a special guest, my good friend, Mr. Cesar Feliciano. Cesar, how are we doing tonight, my friend?
What's up, everybody? Excited to be on the Crowdfunding Comic Show. Second week in a row. Dang.
Second week in a row. Cesar, me and Cesar were talking today, and our good pal, Mr. Good Old Billy Tucci, is still in the air. I guess he just actually landed at JFK. So I don't know if he had a layover or what happened, but we are now here. We've got Cesar with us, and it's going to be a great show. Cesar, I'm so excited. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Simon SIM, but we have him on tonight. He's got a great project, Bloodhunt, which is now on Indiegogo. And, it's kind of a really cool... I would say almost like a horror type comic. It's something really neat. It's been up for a while, and I'm pretty excited to have him on the show. So without further ado, Cesar, let's welcome Simon. Simon, how are we doing, my friend?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for having me on. Hello, everyone. Hello, Cesar. Hello, Niles.
What is the good word, my friend? How is everything in... Where are you in? Quebec?
Yeah, in Quebec, Montreal, yeah.
Montreal. Awesome, my friend. I always wanted to go to Canada. I have yet to go.
If you do, you have to hit me up.
I will. I hear there's some great window shopping there.
Yeah, there's.
Starcast Network says, Hail Sim. Mandy Summers. Awesome. So excited for you.
Hello, Star. Hello, Mandy.
All right. So,
and hello,
Simon.
everyone.
So you are an indie creator. I'd love to get in and delve a little bit in, how you came to be a creator in comics. What motivated you and inspired you? Give me your origin story.
Well, I've been in comics. A fan of comics since I've been a kid.
Mm-hmm.
I was big into heavy metal magazine. I really got into interest into wanting to be in comics when I first read The Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller. That's when I started getting in. Then when 92 Image came out, I was an Image boy. Then after that, I started hitting cons, trying to get a job somewhere. Until I don't know what 2001, I decided to just put it aside. And then in 2004, I met Michael Turner in Fan Expo Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one that got me to getting into self-creating my stuff. So he's the one that technically mentored me for 3 years, meeting in Toronto, and got me to help me to wrote my first book together, which was The Wuill Dragon, that was published as a fanzine that I did in 2009. And that was the launch of my career. In 2011, I started publishing in a little editor called Zimi Paradis, which they used to publish something called Zidara 9, which was like heavy metal magazine but in French.
Oh, nice.
until 2016. And then after that, 2017 came, Comicsgate, and here I am with Bloodhunt. And I also have like 4 other IPs ready to launch afterwards. I have Bloodhunt, Not the Merc, The Wuill Dragon, then another thing called Overall Omnia.
Oh, very cool. Very nice.
That's
Now
nice.
let me ask you. So is this your first crowdfunding campaign?
Technically, I've tried before on Kickstarter in 2016 with something called The Art of Sim. And halfway through, I found out my mom was dying of cancer, and she passed away. So I was not really into the campaign, but I still published a book after, and I still shipped it to the people. They still bought it through me through my website.
I'm sorry to hear I'm sorry about your loss.
That's sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I'm glad you were able to get everything up and continue on with the comics. So what do you think was, I mean, you just mentioned Kickstarter. What do you think was the reason the Kicks, you're now on Indiegogo. So I guess my question is, why didn't you go back to Kickstarter?
One is we can't hide behind the movement of Comicsgate. Everything that's going on Indiegogo, they were able to build like with Ethan Van Sciver, Yahweh Zach. They built the platform Indiegogo into being more supportive of comics, you could say.
Yep.
Especially the type of all types of comics would be more precise.
Mm-hmm.
Going on Kickstarter, it's a bit more niche, and there's a lot of projects of all type. But since I'm very more, I am Comicsgate, so that's why I went to Indiegogo.
Mm-hmm. So you consider yourself a Comicsgate creator.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. I mean, what is Comicsgate to you?
To me,
Yeah, what is Comicsgate to you? Like in your
it's
heart of hearts.
in my heart of heart. It's like the image movement, but the other way around.
Yeah.
Like image was the creators having enough, and they moved out, and the supporters followed.
Hmm.
That one is more like the supporters had enough. They started a movement, and then they started supporting creators. So it's to me, Comicsgate is respect of the customers,
Hmm.
quality of product, and you can pretty much do all type of comics that you want.
Hmm. Let me ask you a question, and Caesar, you can chime in on this one as well, because I was actually thinking about this today. I was driving home. It's late afternoon, and I was just thinking, and I was thinking of Comicsgate, right? I was thinking
Hmm.
of this great group, a community of creators who support each other very well. And I always wondered, like, well, I wonder if this could actually ever be like more than just a group or an organization, or you know what I mean, or a community. Would you ever like to see Comicsgate actually be more of like an actual company?
Hmm. Simon, did you want to tackle that or?
I don't believe that Comicsgate should be a company. It should not be a brand. It's an ideology.
Right.
Technically, that's why I use the illusion as of image. Technically, it's like Comicsgate is the movement,
Hmm.
but we're all independent little creators and their and fans.
Yeah.
So it cannot be a company. It has to stay an ideology. You cannot like you are not Comicsgate, but you do represent it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and with Comicsgate, there's so many different types of people in it, and they all are on different spectrums. Um, and so you need to determine for yourself, where you're gonna find that niche. And I know that there's been a bunch of stuff going on lately with people, and I don't like it. I see it, and I'm like, oh, guys, why are you doing this? This is to the critics of people that are against Comicsgate. They see all and hear about all this back and forth. Um, and to me, it's in a certain sense a waste of time because really, Comicsgate ideology is a good ideology. It's focus on the customer and do
Hmm.
what's right by them. Build your audience and that thing. But from what I can see, really from Comicsgate is there's an opportunity for within that large group that there's going to be people that are going to come together and collaborate
Hmm.
and allow you to you know be a part of another project or add a skill set that you have to something, and so I can see something like that happening. I mean, just since I'm going to be doing an alternate cover for a comic that's going to be coming out and that sort of thing. And so, I mean, I'm kind of like just kind of feeling it out and just kind of getting involved because I do like a lot of the people in the community. They're very supportive and very very they seem like nice guys and gals.
Hmm. Very good.
That is true, and we're very supportive. And what a lot of us have the healthy competition. We like to do hangouts and just draw together and help each other get better,
Yeah.
which is not something that we get often. We just create a Google Hangout and a bunch of creators just jump in and just talk and work.
Hmm. So now what is? Let me ask you. I mean, so with your Blood Hunt comic, I mean, how involved are you? Are you handling every aspect of it, or do you have a creative team?
I'm actually doing pretty much everything except that I have a co-writer and a co-creator.
Oh,
Other
nice.
other than that, it's all me. But depending on how much I make, I might hire a colorist like for the if I reach like over 15K, I want to go colors,
Hmm.
and I might be hiring a letterer if I reach the 10K.
Oh, nice. Now, with your art style and your skill, is this something you went to school for, or are you a self-taught artist?
Self-taught artist, but
Excuse me.
in 2012 I went to study 3D animation and digital design. But I used to do everything that's my art is self-taught. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Caesar, you're self-taught as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been drawing my whole life. I mean, I've been in independent comics for over 25 years now, and yeah, it's the thing. It's the grind. When you draw as a kid, you get to a certain point, and everyone draws, all kids pretty much, and then they stop, and then some continue to go. And I'm always trying to get better every day.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I readily admit that there are artists that are better than me, but I look at those guys and they're like at a really high level, But as far as where I am artistically, I feel that I can do everything that you need to do in order to make a comic or to make a successful looking illustration, and I really pride myself not so much on the graphic part of illustrating figures and scenes, that sort, but just like the storytelling,
Mm-hmm.
being able to move the story along with panels and pictures, and having a good layout. And so I'm really happy to be able to do that. And most people, when they look at my comics, they say, "Wow, this is paced really well." And the pictures are fine. I mean, they're good, but I know that there are people that I'm no Jim Lee. I'm not at that level. But every day I try to get better, and I think that most artists that are in comics that really care, you know, see themselves as a person that is always learning.
Yeah. Now, Simon, I mean, what is your so for someone that's out there creating, right? As an artist yourself, you know that it's not people are natural artists, but it takes a craftsman, every day working his craft and honing his craft. What advice can you give to an up and coming artist who's trying to do their own book, or an up and coming creator who wants to be a better artist?
Yeah, the 1,000 hour rules is true.
Never
You
stop,
have to
never
draw
stop.
every day, never stop. You need to want it more than you want to breed.
Yeah.
If you really want to get that good, you do need to when you get to the weekend and your friends want to go out for the weekend, and you're like, nah, I want to stay home and get that done. I want to get better. You have to reach that level to really want to get good.
Hmm. Now, let me ask you something though. So, how is the comic scene in Canada versus what you know of the comic scene in the U.S., or are they very similar?
Uh, Technically, we have a lot of American comics here and Europeans, right?
Hmm.
As comic creators in Quebec, it's not very big, and it's very more on the autobiography type of thing, like me and my cat, like eating a pie, kind of like there. Or my name is Paul, and here's my adventure in Montreal, and then I'm going to Quebec and Saskatchewan, type of thing. Uh, it's not very open to what they call mainstream. They call it like BD de genre, which is like gender comics, you could say.
Hmm.
But we consume a lot and a lot of American comics. It's mainly what drives the sales of comics here, and European comics like France. Like one of my favorite European comics. If you never read it, I mention it in every show I go. So go check the Meta Baron by Jodorowsky and Juan Ramirez. One of the
Hmm.
best French comic ever.
Nice.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so, I think that I don't know if it was on your show, Nile, or maybe I was talking on a show about the way that European creators do comics as opposed to American creators.
Yeah.
Um,
We had
and what was that with you,
we
Nile?
had William Hazel on, and he's a Scottish creator. And, he was talking about how the size of the comics are much larger, something similar
Mm-hmm.
to like the size of, if you've ever seen the original
The
Teenage
page
Ninja
count.
Turtles comics. They're much magazine. They're more of a magazine size, and also their paneling is larger. And since they have a larger book, also they have more dialogue in their
And
books.
the page count is always between 56 to 64 pages,
Correct.
and it's what you would call what you call the deluxe format.
Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, and they're always between 25 to $27 about.
And does that the size of it does it follow like what a comic American comic size is, or is it a little different, or does it vary generally?
It's like when you order those deluxe sizes of Marvel or DC. They're a bit more oversized.
Hmm.
mean, that's the approach I'm taking with my comics. That all the comics I'm going to be launching, they're all going to be 64 pages. I'm not doing the 48. I'm doing 64 from
Yeah.
the go. But I'm
Okay.
using the same size at American as a graphic novel, but I'm using the same approach of European reading. I have four IPs, one book a year or two,
Hmm.
and I'm going to keep them going like that.
Oh, very
Okay, yeah,
nice.
that's what I was gonna ask you next. So I know that typically in European creators, they'll work 6 months to a year to put out a book or two,
Hmm.
and this is pretty much how they make their living, and they seem to do okay with it. Um, but yeah, I mean that's neat that you're actually considering doing that. At least keeping something fresh always in front of people, even though they have to wait. I think that builds a little expectancy as what is the next thing that Simon's putting out. I'm looking forward to that.
But that's why I'm doing the 64 format, so I could put, like self-contained stories in one, so you don't have to like be continued, like a movie. Like you
Yeah.
approach a movie, you see a movie,
So you're
you
not
got
stuck with like a
you're set.
cliffhanger, right?
Exactly. You're not stuck with a cliffhanger. You got a conclusion to the main story there. But hey, there's something else.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Like
So,
right now, Bloodhunt is planned to be like it's a one story. It could stop there,
yep.
or if it picks up, I have two sequels planned with the ending. Like the third one is like we take a step forward in the future, and it's the ending.
Nice. And we got Starcats Network says Simon is very keen on his details. He's a very talented artist and has been supportive of many Indiegogo campaigns. Mandy Summers is, yep, Simon is one of the absolute nicest, helpful, and sweet guys around. And
Thank you, guys.
welcome Adam to the show. Merlin, welcome. Yeah, so I mean, I've heard great things about you, Simon. I've talked to other creators who are like, "Hey, you got to get him on the show." And we're like, "Actually, we've had him, scheduled for almost like a month now." So everyone's like, "Oh, you got to get him on." And I'm like, yeah, "Just hang on, he's coming on, he's coming on." You have quite the following out there. A lot of other creators, they speak very highly of you, and I encourage everyone out there, hit that like button, slam and smash that like button for Simon. Let's share this live feed, get it out there, share it on Twitter, Facebook, get as many people watching. Let's continue to get exposure for Bloodhunt and continue growing the campaign that he has going on. Now you obviously have this great comics geek community, all these other creators you're working with. Now I got a question for you. Are you talking with any of the other creators? Have you guys thought of maybe collaborating on anything, or are you guys just working on almost like your own little supportive group of I would say key creators within the community that you like to work with or mentor or be mentored?
We actually started building up. How it all started is I did my first campaign, and everybody was telling me that I needed to have a bigger presence on YouTube. I used to have like really big trouble and anxiety attacks every time I did a stream. In the beginning, it was funny.
It's freaky, man. I won't lie. When I started doing this with Billy, right, and we get
There was
everything going. I mean, the I swore like people could see the pulse in my neck like racing as I'm like sitting here like, oh, I hope everything works. And of course, like every like what the first, I mean, oh my gosh, Ethan Van Sciver, right? Billy and Ethan have been friends for decades. I mean, probably going on close to 30 years, right? And
Yeah.
so pumped to get him on the show. He's been very encouraging of us doing the show and putting this thing together. And all of a sudden, we have the worst echo possible. We actually had to cancel the show.
I remember that.
Remember that? Oh my, that was one of the most embarrassing. Talk about anxiety. But after that experience, I will say, all my anxiety went away. I was like, it can't get worse than that. Having Ethan on the show and everything goes to shit. And we end up having to go on his channel to finish our show. So, you know
I
what?
mean, that was crazy.
That was horrible. That
That
was
was so
fucking
much
horrible.
fun, though. It
My
was
work.
so fun. And Billy is, man, I tell you, he is just, he's great. He's all over there. He's such high energy,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's just, he's got like this manic, just creativeness, just constantly flowing out of him and talking, and he's always running ideas are always constantly running through his mind. It's awesome just to kind of see it. It's like you're in awe, like wow, and especially when he starts messing with technology, that's
Oh, it's
hilarious.
horrible.
I
Yeah.
remember that. Remember when the first time I went on Malin, I was so like nervous and I had one of those panic attacks. I'm like, that's something new, right? Yeah, it's like you're having a heart attack. You're nervous as hell. You're like, what the hell? And as soon as I started reading my pitch, I had one of those cramps in the belly that just made me fold in two.
Oh, yeah.
And
That,
after that, I was okay.
yeah.
I think thanks to my friends because I went on Adam AF,
Yep.
Moss, and you had the work campaign guys. They got me on. But the
Hmm.
thing is, that they took the time to chill with me in the beginning and get me used to being on stream. So after that, I started having friends. Like we have Tinfoil Hat Nick, one of the biggest promoters of Comics Gate there, that
Hmm.
promotes every project every day. We have Adam AF, and like you said, we're getting a whole bunch of friends, but we're uniting like creators, YouTubers, editors, writers. We have a whole bunch of like over 36 people in one just in one group, and we're starting to assemble and starting to build something.
Hmm.
Right now, we're looking into solving this, finding a solution for people for shipping for international. Because since I'm in Canada, we could split that between the Canada and the U.S., and I have the Commonwealth, right?
Yeah. Well, that's a huge issue with crowdfunding, and that's where a
Yeah,
lot of people, they lose their shirt, or they don't make anything for themselves. And a lot of things that have been brought up on the show is, a lot of people in the chat will ask, "Hey, well, have you ever thought about, sending it digitally to a printer overseas and have them print the book?" You know, um, is that kind of like in the same direction that you guys may be talking about?
technically, some of the possibilities we're discussing is either like, depending on the size of the amount of people or the quality, the amount of books we're going to print throughout the year. We could go
Hmm.
with like a print on demand, negotiate a deal. But the main idea would be to be dealing with a Canadian printer, like the same that Marvel Image are using Quebecois.
Hmm.
Be able to order them from the US. You get your 500 copies shipped to you, the other 500 here, and we start distributing from both sides. That's
Hmm.
the idea at the base.
Well, yeah, because if you
Yeah.
can ship it in bulk and then the shipment can then take over locally, that
And
should
because
save cost.
of the Commonwealth, I can ship to Australia, the UK, France for cheaper than you. It costs me more to ship to you in the US to ship there.
Really?
Yeah.
You
Wow.
wouldn't think it would cost as much, seeing that we're on the same freaking rock.
Right?
Continent.
I mean, like I could get like shipping to like London, or now you're going into Europe, but I mean, like we're on the freaking same rock. I don't understand. Yeah, the same country, I should say, because we're all technically on the same rock.
Right.
But yeah, that makes no sense to me. But if you come up with a great solution, trademark it and make some money off that. You want to learn how to
Yeah.
ship right? $5.
Yeah, I remember back in the late '90s, early 2000s, Canadian printers were printing a lot of comics,
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, a lot. And I mean, I don't, now with Korea and China being an option, and I know there's some printers out in India, but I still don't trust what the kind of work they're doing there. But so let me just ask you an art question, Simon. So I'm looking at your pages here, and you have a digital background with 3D modeling stuff like that. So do you produce your comics digitally or do you do it traditionally?
Sometimes it's a mix of both, but I draw digitally. Yeah. I also draw traditionally. It's just and it's plus to my tool set.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I'm kind of doing that right now currently with my project, and I've done that with a lot of different projects.
But I don't
And
I don't I
so,
don't I don't use 3D models or nothing. I just use the same traditional method when I draw. So
no,
that's
yeah, but you're just creating it digitally as opposed to on paper.
yeah, exactly. So technically, we gain time. You know how it is.
Right,
Control
absolutely.
the layers and everything. We get way faster than if we would do it traditionally.
Right. So, do you do your layouts? Are you doing your layouts on paper and then scanning them in, or are you just doing them on your computer as well?
Technically, I take the approach since I studied 3D animation for movies, right, for special effects and stuff, and I used to do storyboards. So I usually write my plot. I draw down the storyboard, technically like a storyboard, my money shots and everything. And after that, when everything's laid down, I start laying out on paper. I lay out the idea of my pages. Then after that, I go on Manga Studio Pro and I just draw everything there.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's good to know. I know that sometimes I work backwards. I'll do layouts on my computer, and then I'll scan those and then print those out, and just
Mm-hmm.
draw and ink those if I'm doing traditionally, and then vice versa. So I kind of flip it around like you do as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually
And
draw traditionally, and then I scan it in, and then I ink digitally.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 But
So
with the
now, how do you
iPad,
find
what's
that?
that?
I mean, how is that for you? How do you find the inking tools? Because I mean, I learned how to ink with brush pen,
Mm-hmm.
and that sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
and with brush and then crow quill, and now I use a lot of technical pen, micron
Yeah.
pen. But when I ink digitally, um, there is a little bit of a difference. I mean, I don't know how you feel, like when you're inking digitally, Nile.
Mm-hmm.
Um, does it feel different to you, or do you feel that you're getting close to the look of traditional inking?
I think you can. I think digitally you can get the look of traditional inking, but
Yeah.
the feel and the process is not the same. Because here's the thing that you have to be very careful of with digital, right? There's truly no digital device that will stop the chatter. So when you're trying to do certain fine lines, you have to be careful because it'll give like a wavy zigzag effect that if you don't pay attention to, you will see it in your work, and then you end up having to go over your line again. Where obviously, if you're doing traditional ink and stuff, a steady hand will make that perfect stroke every time.
Mm-hmm.
Digital is not perfect, and it still, to me, it still has a way to go, but I do prefer it because it's just more convenient. Like my brushes are a tap, right? My pens are a tap. I'm not dipping into my inkwell, and I don't have to worry about a pen or anything running out on me or sputtering on me
Mm-hmm.
as I'm going through a drawing. But my heart is traditional though. Most of my
Well,
stuff like that I have set up over here, I am really set up for traditional work. I do have my Wacom, but I actually really do mainly traditional.
well, what do you use as a program?
Me, I'm
Adobe.
using I use Adobe Photoshop. I draw in Photoshop. I draw in Illustrator. I also use oh my gosh, I'm having a brain fart right now.
Clip Art
Uh,
Studio.
what's that?
Did you try Clip Art Studio like on
I have
the?
Clip Art Studio, but I don't know, maybe I've never like really. I'm so used to my programs that I use. Like I use
I,
Photoshop a lot, and I use oh my god, what is it? It's hang on, I have a version
can
of it
I?
on the iPad
I
here.
will tell
I
you
use
one
my
thing though.
Sketchbook Pro.
Yeah, that's what I used to use too. I used to use between Photoshop or Sketchbook Pro.
Hmm.
But once I tried Mango Studio Pro, it also answers a bit of Caesar's question. It's the fact that that program is set to actually have, if you use a G Pen, it acts like a G Pen. If you use watercolors, it acts like watercolors. If you use oil paint, it's oil paint.
Yeah,
And it's not like here's a texture brush. No, it goes like felt pen, G pen, this. You have that type of brush, that type of brush, a flat brush, and you actually have a good reaction. And it's actually similar to the traditional media. Now you just have to get used to working on the screen.
oh, so
Right.
so you're saying so that software you're saying is giving a better product. It's making digital more traditional.
User friendly, yeah, and more traditional, yeah.
And so that's Clip
Yes, it's
Studio.
great.
It's because you're talking Clip
Yeah, Clip
Studio.
Studio. Yeah, it's great for if you're doing comics. It really is. It makes it so much easier. I've been using it as I started using it as Manga Studio. Now it's Clip Studio Paint Pro or whatever. And uh, and I'll be honest with you, it does a lot of the things that Photoshop can do, and in certain ways, so much better.
Hmm.
I mean,
Hmm.
when you're ruling out pages and doing your borders and everything like that, it's consistent every time, and so I really enjoy it. The particular style that I'm using now for my comic works really well with it,
Hmm.
because it's that fill ratio. I block in what I need to fill. I'm going on to the next thing. I'm not sitting there with a brush filling it in, and it really helps me move along a whole lot quicker.
I'll have to mess with it
It,
some more because I've got it.
it,
I draw. Yeah, I've got an iPad Pro, right? I've got the
mhm.
Surface Pro, which actually I really love. I like the way that I love this. I love drawing on the Surface. I don't know if you guys ever drawn on them, but the way the pen, the nib reacts with the screen is better than the iPad Pro or even the Wacom. Obviously, the Wacom gives me the real estate, but Yeah, I mean, I have it on my iPad Pro and I have it on my computer. So I think you guys are kind of convincing me to maybe mess around with this some more.
Yeah, just go experiment, play with the watercolors. You're gonna see how the colors mix instantly. It's very intuitive.
Really? Hmm.
Yeah,
All right, guys, I
Yeah.
gotta go because I gotta go play with this thing now. So,
No, you're gonna love it, and he's right. As long as you have, and I mean, you're a computer guy, so
yeah.
you've got more than enough horsepower to work that program. It works fantastic.
Hmm.
I know when I was setting up my system, I couldn't find like a regular business type thing, so I ended up having someone build me a gaming system set up for
mm-hmm.
my because it has the horsepower to handle it.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
what I have. That's what I
Yeah.
have.
That's what I learned too. I had to do that for actually. I had to do that for my drawing. I use a gaming. I have a gaming rig to do this show, and then I also tie in some of the stuff for my
Do you,
drawing into the same rig because
mm.
I need the power.
now, do you remember when Sketchbook Pro came out, and the reason why people liked it better is because there was no lag in the line work? Remember
Yes.
when you use Photoshop, if you go too fast with your line, it lags,
Yep.
and you have to catch up.
Yep.
And Sketchbook Pro didn't have that.
Hmm.
Manga doesn't have it either.
Really.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I'm
it's
definitely gonna get.
it's immediate.
I'll do when I do some warm ups after the show because typically, every night after we do a show, or even if I don't have a show, I'm in my studio down here and I'm drawing, working on my book, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll mess with it for my warm up. I'll draw something and I'll post it up whatever the heck I create in it. But so
Tag me in,
we've been
but
what's that?
tag me in it. I want to see it.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Unless it's horrible, then I'll just send it to you direct. What the hell? You lied to me. This thing sucks. No. So, man, we've been all right. So we're going on like 32 minutes of chatting. Let's get into this. So we've
Okay.
had a question out here, and we're gonna start off with this question. This is from Zaid Comics. All right. And he says, I have a question. Where did the idea of Blood Hunt come from?
The idea of the came from my friend Danny, because I stopped doing comics for like a year after my mom passed. I just took a little break. I published the artism, and I'm like, what am I gonna attack next, right? I wanted to reassess and take, my kids, because I'm a single dad of two boys. So I needed to take a little step back and reassess things. And my friend Danny came to me and he's like, you've been doing sci-fi and fantasy for a while. Would you like to like try to do a horror story for me for one of our friends' collective? I'm like, maybe. So he goes, you start throwing ideas around, and he goes, I have a good story that would be funny. I'm like, what? You put an assassin, like the guy gets to go kill an old guy, and the dog looks squeezy, nobody's there, and you end up that the old guy is a vampire and kills the guy. So that's how it started. It started by a little funny 6-page story,
Mm-hmm.
and we just left it on the side going, nah, it's not going anywhere. And then after that, I'm the one that came up with the idea of the character, making him like more of a John Wick type of character. Because I was a big fan of those movies like Payback,
Mm-hmm.
Shoot Them Up, right? That type of story that's kind of like it's violent but funny.
Mm-hmm.
And at the core, you even if you think that the guy's doing bad thing, you're rooting for him, like rooting for the bad guy,
Yeah.
and that's where it came from. So I actually wrote all 3 parts. I went to Danny and I'm like, check this out. He goes, whoa, you changed the entire thing. Okay, it's yours. I'm like, yeah, but you're part of it. So that's why it's my show, it's my baby, but it will not exist without Danny.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man. It's always good to have a good close inspiration like that. Someone to keep you kind of motivated and
Hmm.
kind of push you to get those ideas out there. So what I'd love to do, guys, if you don't mind, I'm gonna head over to Indiegogo and let's play the video for everyone.
Hello, and welcome to the Bloodhunt Project. Bloodhunt is the story of Vincent, an elite assassin who takes a bit too much pride and pleasure into what he does. He's got it all. Style. He also happens to be secretly dating his current boss's daughter. Thus, betrayed and sent into his death in the guise of a simple job to take out an old man who happens to be an elder vampire. Now, Awakened as a vampire, he discovers a world hidden in plain sight, a world of the supernatural as he seeks to exact vengeance on the one responsible for his death. The blood hunt begins.
All right. That's nice, man.
Wow.
I love your style, dude. You've got such a sick style.
Thank you. And on
Yeah.
that one, I actually really tried to have a more anime-ish type of style.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you. Really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
I see. I can see some in some parts. I see a little bit of McFarlane influence there. Um, maybe just in the craziness of things and all the little because seems to be a lot of like detail
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
these pages, and McFarlane really he would do that and put a lot of detail. And even he admits it's not that I'm actually drawing everything, but I'm just putting a lot of little things and marks in there to kind of
Yeah.
fill up space. But it
ex-
looks cool. You know what I'm saying?
exactly that. It is a big influence on my inking. I am a big fan of him and Capullo, Mark Silvestri, Jim Lee.
Yeah.
But my inking is highly inspired by McFarlane, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is great, dude. This is so awesome. I mean, I love this. You know why? Because it's like you said, you're a self-taught artist. I mean, look at what the discipline and the practice and not giving up. And someone looks at your work and they'll probably think you went through some of the best programs. So I mean, that truly is a compliment to yourself as an artist. And obviously your style is just going to keep growing and evolving. But
Hmm.
yeah, I definitely see that. I totally see that McFarlane influence, and kind of just. I know you said you were a big image guy, and you can definitely see some of those influences there. Greg Capullo is a fantastic artist. I want to
If
get
you
him
go,
on the show.
if you go down the campaign, you see the full size pages. There's like 8 pages of sample in there.
Yeah, we're gonna scroll down here. So tell us a bit
And
about while
just want to mention,
Yep.
go. Sorry,
Nope.
I was
Go,
just,
because
I
I'm
was
gonna go
I
on
was
a
just
different
gonna say,
topic.
okay, I was just gonna say, look at the cover because I redid the colors with some advice on Cal Ray Ritter,
Oh, nice. This
which
cover
is
right
very
here.
yes.
Yeah, this is beautiful.
I can see his influence.
Yeah.
He came in and he goes, "Do you mind if I give you $400 ago?" Hell no. Come on. So
Hey,
you,
he's very talented guy. Very talented.
yes, he is, and he's very nice and helpful. Oh, he's great.
Hmm.
Like you said, the community of Comics Gate is awesome.
Yeah, I've, as a outside entity kind of looking in the whole world of
Hmm.
comic creating, right? We on this show, I mean, we don't take part really, we're just about supporting great projects, right? We don't really
Yep.
care, people's personal beliefs, this and that. We really just want to highlight awesome creators. And,
Hmm.
we do get a lot of guys, within the Comicsgate community. We get some outside of the Comicsgate community, but I do have to say my observations, right,
Hmm.
is there is a lot of camaraderie. Um, talents recognized, and I noticed that, if there's a good colorist there, you guys are flooding him with work. A good letterer is flooding him with work.
The
So and so
letterers
is,
too.
yeah, so and so is, doing the drawing, and so and so is doing the inking. So, it is really cool to see because it's, right now is the time. We are in a golden age of creating. All the tools are here. They've never been here before. No one's lived in a time like we live in now because, well, it's the present, right? But
Hmm.
still, what has come to us? I mean, look at it this way, right? We're talking Photoshop. Well, for $20 a month, you can buy Photoshop and you can actually have the entire Adobe suite. You know,
Mhm.
technology is cheaper. You know, things are more powerful. They cost less. I mean, you can literally buy a few pieces of equipment, get a couple software subscriptions for only the time you need them for, and you can bang out your book. And then you can cut those subscriptions when you don't need it and cut your cost. Um, and then now look at communities where you're building up right now, right? So let's say a Comicsgates creators or non-Comicsgate, you know, just a bunch of guys, you know, just doing their own thing. I mean, all it really is just a group of creators getting together and supporting one another. And I mean, look at what you guys are doing with Indiegogo. Look at what's happening with Indiegogo, and I will say, look at what's happening with Kickstarter because there are some changes that are going on there. And you know, I'll give my opinion on Kickstarter in a little bit because I do like to bring that up as a topic. But
Mhm.
I mean, it's really cool. It's like, I mean, Caesar, you can attest to this. I mean, Indiegogo and these other things. I mean, there's a whole new way to buy comics. You know, and it's such a personal and cool way to
And
learn about artists, make new friends, and follow a creator's journey.
Right. So I do want to ask Simon a question because I think he brought something up. You know, like right now I'm running a campaign, and you know, it's still got some time to go, but you know, hopefully it'll get funded, but you know, we'll see. So, as someone that had a campaign that they, and I hate to say failed campaign because you know the fact that you're even willing to put something out there for people to look at it and you know and drop
yeah,
hard dollars on it to me is not a failure because
I'll
you're putting the work in. But what it is you know, for a campaign that doesn't get funded the first time through, you
Mhm.
know, and then you have to go and look and say, wow, you know, why? You know, you have to ask yourself those questions. Why didn't it get funded? You know, what did I do? And so, you know, you have to do some serious soul searching. So, Simon, when that happened to you, what did you do? Well, I mean, what were the things that you said to yourself? Well, this is what I would do differently now in order to make sure that the campaign succeeds next time.
I would say that one of the main thing is to be visible because one of the biggest problems is visibility. When I first launched my campaign, I started promoting the book 6 months in advance. When I came close to the day of launch, I still didn't have that much visibility. I still had barely like 300 followers, and I launched my campaign. I had about 12% of funding within the first week, but then it was dead until the last 2 weeks. And that's when people started noticing me in the last 2 weeks, and I went all the way up to 46% in 5 days, and then it was over. But like you said, not because a campaign failed, that it's a failure because I won the followers. I won the people that was back me that came to say, okay, we have advice for your next campaign. I had Nick Temple, had Nick coming in, and that's how I made friends. Because the idea is we're making friends, and since we support each other. So one of the biggest thing that I thought was everybody needs to advertise their project first. You need to make sure that you have visibility and you go on YouTube because one of the biggest part of any crowdfunding is that people don't just yes, your project needs to be inspiring, needs to be nice and quality, but people invest in you because they're not just coming here to pre-buy your book, they're coming here to invest in your dream because they believe in your project and you. So usually they need to know you and who you are and being transparent is a good idea of doing it. Being open and taking criticism from people and not going, you know, nuts and blaming everybody and just investing enough and getting ready. I started getting ready for my relaunch 2 weeks before it was ending. I knew that it was a chance that it was gonna fail from the get go because I did not have over 1,000 followers, but the first campaign helped me build it.
Hmm.
So by the end of the first campaign, I took 2 weeks off because people were like, "Wait a minute, no, I don't want everything to cool off. I don't want to go too fast either." So I took 2 weeks to make sure that because remember that if your campaign fails, it takes at least 1 week for people to get reimbursed. So don't go launching right away. People don't get didn't even have the money first from the first time. So you build your email list and you start branching out and reaching out to all those YouTubers and the promoters that we have across YouTube, like you guys. We have StarCast that's in the chat right there. We have the Red Gaze that's a big host too. Mandy Summer that started that she's a sweetheart.
Hmm. Yeah, we have
Uh,
her on Thursday. Yeah, we have her on Thursday.
yeah. We have RCD Comics that has a woke show. We have NDA with passion for drawing that has drawing aces. You just reach out to them and say that you have a book coming, and they will promote you.
Yeah.
And this is how you can build up and actually have a chance with your campaign. Like when I relaunched and I had my newsletter, I had all of them ready and sharing, and we did what we like to prepare launch parties for our friends. So let's just say Caesar's launching his project on Indiegogo, right?
Hmm.
You reach out to me and Nick. I'm launching that day. I don't have anything. Well, we'll organize a full day of launch party just to promote your book
Mm.
on our shows. So it's like a morning show. You on Saturday morning you'll be with Archie Comics, and we'll be there promoting your book, having a special. You'll come on the Dulo and Chill, and we'll do on that show. It's a different type of show, but we'll still promote your book. And then what we set up is every 2 weeks we have something called the Red Line. It's on the Red Gauge channel, and this is what's something that we just started. And the idea is that every 2 weeks we have a funding marathon. So we open at 9 until at least 3 in the morning, and everybody can come in. Just anybody that's independent or TG come in as long as not come here with they're coming in with a good attitude and positive and comics.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, no, definitely a huge positive attitude coming through. I mean,
Yeah.
so out of all these wonderful people you've met, I mean, who has influenced you the most? Who keeps your spirit going and your creativity high?
In my friends, or you mean in the in our indie world? Because
I'm saying like in the well, your friends and the indie world are they're kind of the same. I mean, we're all indie creators. We all have our Indiegogos coming up or Kickstarters, whoever's doing what. So I
but
mean,
then
has
if
there been one person that's really kind of stood out for you?
I was gonna say, then you're just me because you're asking me to choose like between my favorite children. No.
It could be more than one.
I will have to give a heads up to Nick. Tinfoil Hat Nick is the one that found me and made sure that I was seen everywhere. And the fact that that umbrella guy got behind my campaign too. There's Adam, Red Gaze. The people I just named not too long ago, they're like my best friends. We're like a little family here
Hmm.
of creators, and that's what the group is. That's what I'm telling you. It's kind of mean. Asking me which one.
It's a challenging question. Something that had to be asked. Um, so we're getting some comments because there is some kind of breakup in your audio feed.
Oh,
So I think it's just I'm looking at the monitor here just so everyone knows because I'm being questioned as I'm trying to explain to some people what's going on. You guys just your bit rates are kind of low coming through. Um, so there's really not too much we can do about that. It's not anything I can really fix on my end. Um, the only thing I can think is neither of you have any of the sound from the video playing, correct?
no, mine's muted.
You're just muted. Okay, so it just is what it is. There's just a slight. You sound like kind of like Optimus Prime.
Oh, that's
It's
cool
a
then.
good thing. That's cool. It's a cool effect.
Transform and roll out.
Yeah. Let's roll. So Simon, let me ask you, what is the future for crowdfunding for you? What is after Bloodhunt?
After Bloodhunt, I'm working on the first creation I did in 2012, which I'm bringing back Nightmare. I'm going to sci-fi. It's like a mix of what I was telling you. It's inspired by Lobo, heavy metal, and those type of European comics like Meta Baron. So it's like a epic sci-fi thing. It's like a space opera. So it's the story of a hybrid alien that was raised by an assassin droid. Then after that, I have the wolf dragon. That's the last dragon on Earth, raised by an immortal knight, and it's inspired by the Arthurian legends.
Hmm.
And I also have a project called Seed of Yggdrasil with Starcast, and I'm also working on something called CG Jumpstart, which is a magazine that we're doing. It's a mix of Wizard magazine and Shonen Jump.
Oh, that's cool.
So we're gonna have four of those a year. So it's to promote. That one's mainly to promote comic skate projects to give them visibility, so they can come and print some of their stories in there.
Okay.
And
So I
also,
think you have the same kind of filtering process that that they have for Shonen Jump? Because I think the way I understand that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, there's almost like you have to be selected to be part of that,
Hmm.
and you have to produce something x amount of pages, and it has to have a certain kind of. I don't completely understand it because manga anime is like another world to me, but.
Technically, it's we're using the approach of it, but it doesn't have to be manga. Technically, you understand what I mean? It's like we're using the approach of Shonen Jump. Technically, like we're gonna have like 2 to 3 regular artists that's gonna have an ongoing series, and then we're gonna have like other pages for artists to come promote either their books, sample their books, or come show their own stories. So like the main one are gonna have like between 12 pages, and the second one, the other one's gonna have 6 pages. And there you're also gonna have like remember like Wizard used to have the crash course,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right? We're gonna have that. We're gonna have edits. We're gonna have like reporters. We're trying to build a magazine, and it's gonna be like the same size as Heavy Metal magazine.
That's really cool. I really love that idea. How are you guys going to
Yeah.
distribute that? Is it going to be like each issue going to be crowdfunded, or is this going to be something completely different?
We're gonna start by crowdfunding the first issues.
Okay.
Technically, we wanted it to be a quarterly, and after that, we're gonna see how things goes. Yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
very cool. I like
Yeah,
that,
that's
man.
pretty
I'm
great because
digging that.
there was a I think I saw a documentary. This is probably the only reason I know this. One Piece started off in Shonen Jump. Now, One Piece is a very famous manga,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it's been going on for years and years and years and years. And the guy that does it is like he has more money than he knows what to do with in his life. But but it's neat to see that that's how he started, and he was just like hoping to get on, and now it's like everyone wants him, or everyone, like his thing that he created just took off, and now it's like a whole cottage industry now.
Hmm.
And it was the same thing with Trigon. I think it started in there too. There's a whole bunch of things that starts there. Technically it's where you go to throw things to see if it's stick.
Yeah.
Like one of the idea of Jumpstart is like come promote your book, see if it catch up, and if you want, but go do your own. Because the idea of CG Jumpstart it's also to help creators come and technically publish their story and get the copyrights done to them. So
Hmm.
you come publish your story, you get published in there. You have your copyrights. Everything's good. You can do whatever you do with it. We don't own nothing from it, but
Wow.
we help you get your copyrights by getting printed.
That's really cool. I love that idea. Now, if it's a success, do you guys have you guys talked about like, hey, we're going to start off with four issues a year? What are you quarterly issues? Um,
Mm-hmm.
have you guys talked like, hey, if it's a success, maybe we should do it monthly?
It's in the discussion. We're testing around. It's the same team behind the siege. That's it too.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Cool. I really, man, keep me in the loop on that. I really, I freaking love. I was a huge fan of Wizard. I mean, I'm still a huge fan of a Wizard. I have so many back issues of that, um, and I'd love to see something like that come back. And even like, remember they did the how-to drawings in there.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be so. How many pages did you say? Maybe I misheard, but how many pages is each issue gonna be?
Right now we're looking around a bit more than 60, maybe all the way to 80. Because right now we're at 48 just for the regular creators.
Awesome.
So we're still building it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Niall and
great.
I are going to submit a little
Yeah.
six-page thing for that. Niall, your thing that you've been working on for the last year or so.
10 years. It
Yeah, well, that
started.
I've
It
seen
started
for
about 10 or 12 years ago.
yeah, that's crazy. That would be
Yeah.
awesome to just kind of throw something in there, 6 pages, introduce people to your character,
Oh
and
yeah.
then like Simon said, see how people respond to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How funny is it though? I created this character. His name's Medico, and it's Italian for doctor, and it's a play on a plague doctor, but it's completely different. It's not like your traditional sense. And
It's creepy as hell, is what it is.
What is creepy? He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Well, he's an
Yeah.
anti-hero. But anywho, I've been working on it for about 12 years, on and off. But now I've been like really grinding it for the past like 2 years, and I still am just not sold. Like names, it's always been my Achilles heel is names. My entire life creating like somebody like, oh, that's so awesome. What's he called? It's like I don't know. Big guys. I don't know.
The
Like a
guy.
name. My names aren't my thing. But so I've been totally just trying to like just totally trying to get this thing nailed down to see if I'm happy with it. But yeah, I've got a whole bunch of stuff I'm going to be posting with it because I've really made some headway with it. I got some
Awesome.
sample pieces to see what people think.
Cool. That's how it works. That's another thing that people like about indie comics and the YouTube Comics Gate type of movement is
Yeah.
they get to see the project grow.
Yeah.
If you take time to go stream and they see you working on the cover, they see you discussing with your writer.
Yep.
Like if you take the time to watch me and start work on one of those night streams that we do working on a project, you will laugh your ass off. I think I quit the project 10 times just to make people laugh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome, man. That is freaking awesome. It's almost like it'd be like everyone should just kind of like record like their own little documentary of their whole process, and I bet you it would be such a laugh to see some of the stuff people go through.
But it's what we like. Honestly, it's like we all like watching our heroes draw, right? I like watching Jim Lee draw.
Yeah.
I've met Simon Bisley. He's one of my biggest idols, and he's a sweetheart. And it's amazing to see him do his ink wash.
Mm-hmm.
He did one of my characters. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. That is.
And another thing we were discussing with Adam Post. One day, it's like we're talking about my Turner, mentor type of thing, right? It's like it's such an amazing story because we were trying to find a way of putting a show together that we could do that. Like have a few artists on, and maybe having a few people from the chat jumping in for asking for advice, or just chatting with us.
Mm-hmm.
Like a rolling thing, so they can actually interact. The way I'm starting to see the entire indie comic biz and the YouTube and everything, it's like a big comic book convention live at all time.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the kind of cool thing. I remember I was talking to EVS. We were just BSing. It was after a show or something. We were chatting, and then I said to him, I was like, "Well, what are your thoughts on the con scene? Are you going to try to hit more conventions or things like that?" And especially now, I actually was talking to him a little bit because I know now we're doing crowdfunding panels, right?
Yeah.
And actually, while I'm on the air, I just want to say this, because some people are like, "Oh, well, why aren't you inviting this person, that person?" We don't actually invite people to the convention. We look at the roster of who the convention producers have invited, and if they're people that have done crowdfunding, then we say, "Hey, why don't you join the panel?" Or would you like to join the panel? Unfortunately, we can't just pick anyone we want and say, "Hey, come to this," because usually the convention, they invite most artists and they'll pay for most of the artists' way to the show. So I just want to clear that up. So we're not the ones that actually get to. I couldn't just say, "Hey, Cesar, come to this convention," because if he's like, "Hey, they didn't invite me and they're not paying for my stuff, I'm not going." So just want to clear that up. But one thing that's really cool is that's what it said is this whole the internet thing, doing these shows, everything. It's like you can experience a virtual convention whenever you want. And what's great is as your careers grow and all of our careers grow, you are open to your fans.
Yes.
You're going to go on a show and you're conversing with your fans. They are getting time with you. And
that's how I got over all this. Is that I used to see it as being on the show, right? Going in front of a camera. But after that, it's I never wanted to be a host. But by being able to set a show with a host, I really, really, really enjoyed interacting with people.
Yeah.
It's a fun part of the con, interacting with people, asking you questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's magical, and it means the world to me. The support that we're having, it means the world to me.
Yeah.
I love them all.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. I think it's like what you're doing, right? And watching you grow and seeing Cesar's development. It is an amazing thing to watch. And I love all the viewers. I love everyone that comes on the show, everyone that's participated, everyone that's allowed us to grow. And I love the support I am seeing out there. I mean, how can you not stay motivated? How can you not stay? I mean, it's like everyone's at the top of their game, just pumping out great stuff. It's just a chain of inspiration.
Yeah, and it's something that's been lacking in the comic book world in a long time, and it's fun to see it back again.
Yeah,
and all the creativity and the cool characters, the designs, this. So yeah, some of them are something like rehash of some of a mainstream comic, but most of them are original and they're fun. And it's one of the things that I like to encourage people. It's one of the things that I started doing it. And as artists, we all do exercise, right? Or warm up sketches. And we usually all do characters that we already know, right? And then it's kind of like safety pillow characters that we go, right? We
Hmm.
just we'll do a Batman or Spider Man or.
Yeah.
But then there's the point when I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing like comics gators or projects that are funding, just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
And then I saw something that I was not expecting is getting messages from those creators going, "Guy, what? My campaign was dead, and you shared that thing, and I just made $250." And I'm like, what?
Oh yeah.
And then I'm like, hold on a sec. Then I just started making them regularly, like at least like sometimes 2 to 4 a week for campaigns that are in funding, and it's working. And then I want to, you know what? I'll do something else. Since
Yeah.
I'm Canadian, right? It gets expensive to support a lot of
It
American
does.
companies. Yeah, right.
It
It's
does.
like
But you know what? You can always
$50.
just share it, right?
Yeah,
There's other ways to support because I mean, obviously, this is what's going to happen, and we all know, right? And Caesar, I'm sure you've seen this happen too. Um, Whenever something starts to build up, more and more people get involved.
yeah,
Quality. You're going to have to start monitoring the quality of projects because you're going to get people reaching out. Hey, can you support me this? Hey, can you shout me on this? Hey, can I come on your show? Hey, can I do this? Can you do this with me? And the thing is, everyone's seeing it. And like you're saying, and before you know it, if you start contributing to everybody, you're gonna be broke. You'll be living on the street. Um,
yeah,
but there's one way you can always do is you can always give a share. You can always give a shout out. But you know, I think one thing with doing this and growing and everything is just have to make sure it doesn't wash itself out. You know what I'm saying? Um,
yeah.
Everyone's starting to do a lot of the same things. But
One of one of the things that I did is I started sending the high res of those fan art to the
mhm,
creators so they could use to promote their book and maybe give them prints. And I also offered to print myself on cardstock and sign them 10 copies for the campaigns to see if it help them out, and it worked.
yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah, no, and that's great. I mean, I did something. I've been doing something similar to that. What I do is every Monday at 8:30, I have a YouTube stream, and it's the El Guapo Draw stream. So what I'll do is I'll have a guest come on that is running a campaign currently that is funded or not funded, or if they're close, whatever, and I'll interview them while I draw their character live. And so last night I had the guys from Hero on, and at the end of the show, I say, "Hey guys, this one's for you. Take it. I'll send you the high res file and use it and promote it. You can use it as a stretch goal or whatever you want to do with it. I don't care. It's for you guys." And they were just like, "Wow, I can't believe you're doing this." But it's it's you have. I'm of the mind that you have to give in a certain sense and put forth that
Yeah,
giving spirit so that not that you're doing it with an expectation of something coming back, but it's a good thing to do, and people remember that, and then it will result in positivity. You always want to be constantly positive and
yeah,
doing something good for others.
yep, exactly. The thing is that it's crowdfunding. It's also the fact that we take pride in helping other. It's like your success is my success. The
Yeah,
fact that you succeed in doing your book, it means that our world is succeeding. So meaning what we're building is a success. So I want you to succeed as much as I succeed.
exactly.
That's how we build this. This is how we're gonna make it viable.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
true. And then let me ask you a question because I've been kind of watching the chat a little bit and I'm seeing some conversation. I mean, on top of that, you want to help support great creators, you want to help support great stuff, but does that mean you speak up when things that aren't that great are starting to try to work their way through? Do you give constructive criticism? Do you tell
Yes,
someone, their project's not good?
yes, I do. People, a lot of people reach out to me, and I take time to help them out. Yeah,
Hmm.
I do. And like we all like my little team there is like, if you guys need advice or you need pointers, you want help, just reach out to us. Just DM, we'll answer you.
Hmm.
I've been helping some people that are doing colors. I'm giving them advices. Yeah, it's that's we need to give back. And the entire thing of the art medium and the comic book is that, like I told you, Michael Turner was, when I met him, he was dealing with cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I met him like 3 years in a row. And the last year when I went, it was when he was, he just came back after 4 months out. So I get to the Toronto Convention Center, and they just announced that he canceled everything because he's sick.
Yeah.
But I get a message on my phone saying that he's waiting for me though.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy had to go, but he still took time to see me because he wanted to give me that pointers, and that was the last time we were meeting. And he told me that now you need to publish that book,
Yeah.
and he passed 2 months after.
Mm-hmm. All right.
And every book that I published has dedicated to Michael Turner in it.
Yep.
Every one of them.
Yeah. No, that's real deep, man. That's
So it's my way. It's the way I see it to give back. So if anybody needs advice, the only thing I say is my Twitter DMs are getting a bit crazy. So send me a message. If I don't answer right away,
yeah.
don't get pissed. It might take 3 to 5 days to me find you in there.
Yeah. 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 So let me
but I
ask you,
will,
man.
but I will answer.
We've we've touched on a lot of great things. I would like to know though, a question I like to ask is what's the best advice you can give anyone out there that is starting their first crowdfunding campaign?
Work your ass off. Never give up. Never surrender. And do not play victim. Do not start blaming other people. If you're not succeeding, it could be as simple as just the fact that it did not get under the right eye,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. Sometimes it's just one thing that could just change everything. So don't destroy yourself. Don't take everything personally. Take everything constructively. Take a step back. It's if you have a project out there, it's already a big step, right?
Yeah.
It could be harsh to spend 2 weeks not seeing it move, and it could be destructive, and it hurts. I can understand that, but nothing that's worth it comes easy, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
No,
what
that's
and
100%
what
true.
and what people respect and what people will get aligned behind you is the fact that you will stand your ground. Like one of the things that really changed the end of my first campaign is I had a few interviews, right? And one of the questions they were asking was, "You don't seem that you're going to be successful, so it's going to fail." I'm going, "Yeah, but I don't see it as a failure. Like I told you before, I see it as a success
Mm-hmm.
because now people know me. Now I have followers. Now I'm at 900 followers on Twitter. Now I got started in 2 weeks. So was it a failure the first campaign? Hell no. I built everything for my second campaign.
Yeah. Yeah. It was funny. I don't know if you've watched our panel at all, but Jimmy Palmiotti said something great. He's like, I have a house of success and I have a city of failures. And he's like,
Mm-hmm.
everyone wants to look at my nice house, but no one really wants to, go stomping through my city of failure. So,
It's
I
all,
mean, really in life, we have more failures than success. But,
yeah.
because of these failures, that is the way we succeed.
You
Because
risk
you don't give up. You're learning from a mistake. And if you learn from the mistake, you won't make it again, hopefully.
it and go get back up and try again. Like
That's
I
it.
say, you dust it up and ask for more.
That's it. Dust yourself off, man. And
Yeah.
move on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. But all right, man. So I gotta ask you something. So your comics, it's a supernatural horror fantasy. I mean, are you a man that believes in real life of supernatural things? Are you a man that believes in ghosts? Do you believe in little green men coming down probing? Do you believe in big hairy guys stomping through the woods and staring through and trying to steal your picnic baskets?
Let's just say I don't believe in most, but I like to believe in the fun ones. I don't really believe in ghosts.
Yeah.
I don't believe there's actual vampires. But we never know. I could say that and die tomorrow. And
Yeah, yeah.
most people say that since I live the nightlife and I draw all the time, they think I'm a vampire. But you never know.
Yeah, you never know, man. You know what? I think nighttime's the best time to be creative.
Right?
I'm a night owl, man. I get through the day on coffee and sugar
Mm-hmm.
and a high blood pressure, I'm sure. And then, like, once 8 o'clock hits, like right now, I'm wide awake. I can just go for hours. I barely sleep as it is. I'm sure you guys can attest to that.
I'm the
Two,
same.
3 hours is a good night for me. Or actually morning, I would say. But yeah, man. I mean, You know what? Let's have some fun too. I mean, so you're in Canada. I mean, I hear you know, the nightlife in the Montreal area is just, it's an exciting time. Like, you guys got some crazy clubs, bars, things like that. I mean, do you
Yeah.
partake in any of those scenes? Do you let loose and have some fun?
I'm a 43-year-old guy with 2 kids. I settled down. But I used to.
Hey man, every now and
You know,
then though, right?
I'm
Pull
more
the
like
hair
the
down.
hermit. I'm more of the hermit style now. I live at home, draw my books. I want to succeed, and I'm raising my 2 kids,
Yeah, I
and
hear you.
I live with my brother from another mother and his 2 girls. So we have a big family of 6 here.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
That's cool, man. That's cool. All right, man. Caesar, do you have any more questions before we get into our crowdfunding call out?
No, I mean pretty good. I mean, I'm um, I'm intrigued by the comics gate jump.
Art,
Yeah.
That's intriguing to me. That seems like a breeding ground for testing ideas, and I have a lot, and I definitely need to. I mean, we follow each other on Twitter there, Simon. So I'm definitely gonna hit you up here.
yeah, DM me. I could hook you up with Gat and the rest of the team, so you could
Yeah.
probably be in it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would actually. Yeah, I mean, if you can send some info on that, I mean, that is something really cool. I mean, to bring Wizard back, I mean, that just falls right back in the lines of like bringing the industry back to where it was, right?
And it's the fact of bringing Wizard with comics in it.
With comics in it, yeah. You know what I used to love, and I don't know, it just popped in my head. They used to have pages where like fans would show pictures of like custom figures they would make. You know,
Yeah.
like mod action figures and things. I don't know if you guys remember that.
That's awesome.
I still have all my Brute and Babes page that I cut out of my Wizard and the Crash Course by Greg Capullo. They're still all. I still have them stapled.
Oh, yeah, I have a whole folder that I've pulled out from back in the day. I pulled all of that stuff out, all the how-to drawings, anything
You
I
have them
thought
all?
like I could. Yeah, I have them. I don't even know. I got them somewhere here.
You're
I
gonna
might
have to.
I
scan
might
them
have to
one.
pull like a Tucci and disappear for like 4 minutes and come. Hey, there we go. I got it right there. You see that? Huh? Wait, hang on a second. And then he freaking comes. Hey, hello. Nah, I fucking love that dude. He's such a good dude.
One of my
He's all over the place. I love Billy.
I love that man.
one of my little favorite little box of collection there. It's I have an old collection of all the old heavy metal magazines. The old one with Mobius, Bilal, and all
Is
those.
it Meto Holland?
Metal Hurlant, yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any of that, man. I wish I did though. I wish I did. That's some good stuff. I love all that like independent, just out of the box, not conform to anything, those books.
Yeah.
But, all right,
They
guys. So, what's that?
Two
What was that, Caesar?
No, those guys just gave 2 craps. It was awesome.
Oh, they didn't care. They didn't care. It was almost like the concept of like Mad Magazine, but then like just really not caring. You know,
Yeah.
who cares? Let's just throw it into it. So all right, guys. So tonight, we're honoring our good friend Kyle Ritter with a crowdfunding call out for Star Blades. I mean, the dude is just sick. He is a sick creator. I mean, he's got 59 days. He's got 436 backers, $27,510. I mean, I would love to see this be a 6-figure campaign for the guy. Truly a talent. I mean, check out all this art here, the colors, the illustrations. I mean, this is, when you talk professional quality art, a professional quality creator, Kyle Ritter. I mean, look at it. I mean, this is insane.
It's a complete package, that's for sure.
He's a complete package.
We did his launch party yesterday, and he got funded in less than 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, look at this. I love this. Oh my gosh, I want to like a print of this and hang it in the studio.
It's like, in our little chat, because he's one of our friends, and we're like telling him like it reminds us of Silver Hawk mixed with Visionaries.
Yeah.
Remember those old shows?
Yeah. I mean, I love this, dude. This is like this is such an awesome universe that he's created.
Yes.
Now, what do you know about this campaign? Because I haven't spoken with Kyle yet. I want to get him on the show. I also want to coordinate it so that we can make it. I have a friend who does sign language, so I was actually trying to see if I can get him on.
When we did it yesterday, we were handling through the chat. So
Yeah.
somebody was always chatting through the Hangouts chat.
Yep.
That's how we did it. But yeah, it would be a good idea.
Yeah.
But
So
that book is amazing.
it is. I mean,
It's
so
a,
his involvement in this book. I mean, is this a soup to nuts project for him?
it's a personal project that he's been working for a while, and it's supposed to be a trilogy.
Yeah.
I seriously cannot wait to get it.
Like look at this right here. You seeing this, Cesar?
No,
Look
it's
at this.
amazing.
Look at this
I'm
detail.
looking at it. He's got a real. There's almost like a little bit of Jimmy Chung in some of the art, the way that the figures are drawn, especially the faces. It's really, really dynamic. I love it.
I think you can see a big influence of Ethan too.
Yeah, definitely Ethan's style. You can see that influence, but I mean, his keys. He is. I'll tell you that his coloring is, as I like to say, I use this word a lot, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Like some of the armor actually looks like I'm looking at this image right here. I mean, that actually, if you look quick, I mean, that almost looks real.
Yeah.
With the highlights, the shading, the lighting, the highlights. I mean, all the dark and the reflection. I mean, that's incredible. Yeah, so guys, I mean, you all know this. I don't even have to, tell you guys to back this or whatnot. I'm sure you have already. But let's keep spreading the word on this, because this right here, I need to know more about. I have to know more about this. I'm in love with the art. I'm in love with what I know about it. So let's just keep growing this. Let's get Kyle to 6 figures. Let's do it. He's got 59 days. Push the hell out of this thing. Hit up Twitter. Hit up Facebook. Throw it on Instagram. Make your kids buy it. Make your parents buy it. Make everyone.
Let's get the critter over the 50K.
Exactly.
Let them go over the six figure young lady.
There you go. So, all right, guys, this has been a great show. I appreciate it. Sorry to everyone with some little audio feedbacks I guess we're having. Again, it's nothing. It's all out of my control, and I have checked while we're live, and it's just some low bit rates. So maybe it's just some internet issues. So yeah, I mean, Cesar, thank you for stepping in and being my special guest host tonight. Awesome.
Not a problem. Anytime.
And everyone, check out Chango. Plug your stuff, Cesar. Plug your stuff. What do you got going on?
Yeah, so I got a campaign now running on Kickstarter. It's called Chango the Broken Veil. It's a story about a 6-year-old boy that has been seeing demons since the age of 6. Now as a teenager, he's looking to be rid of them once and for all. But is it a curse or something more? So we're going to discover that. It's a good story. I mean, I'm putting a lot of work, effort into it, bringing high quality production to it, art, coloring, lettering, the whole 9 yards. I've got a good team that I've put together. My co-writer Ben Goldsmith did a great job putting the story together along with me. We got Jason Smith on colors, who's colored Spencer and Locks for IDW, and we got Justin Birch on it as well. So we're running an Indiegogo, and please head on over there to Chango the Broken Veil, and support it. I mean, I believe in the philosophies of Comicsgate. I'm friends with a lot of other people that are of the same mindset. Like Simon and the whole crew over at CG Delta and Comics First, Deltaverse, and over at Dog Press and Dog Stars and all that. So there's a lot of us out there that just want to make good comics, drama-free, really bring it to the consumer, and that's what I'm trying to do here. So you can find me on Twitter at El Guapo Comics. You can find me at Instagram at The Art of Cesar Feliciano, and on Facebook, The Art of Cesar Feliciano. You can go onto my YouTube channel and subscribe there at El Guapo Comics on YouTube. And, every Monday night I run a show where I do a live draw stream, interview and draw a character live for your entertainment.
Yes, and if Frank Amazing so for everyone who doesn't know, Frank Amazing is on vacation, but he is in the chat. He's been posting links. So Frank, if we can get a link to Cesar's YouTube channel in the chat, let's do that. Simon, how can everyone follow you, and do you have any shows coming up, or do you have your own YouTube channel that you're working on?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter under Simon SIM Pothier, and under the same name on YouTube. I do some streams sometimes called Sim with Friends. I do have a show called Doodle and Chill with Nick, Tinfoil Hat Nick, uh, Adam AF, and Starcast, where you're welcome to come, Caesar. That would kind of be cool. The idea is we like to doodle with stuff like doing what if we created certain characters, do fan art, do little thing, but interactive with the chat while the host talk about comics.
Yeah,
You could
just
come
send
promote
me
your
a link
book.
sometime, and if I can pop on, for sure.
We have the Red Line, and follow my friends, the Red Gaze, Starcast, Art Shitty Comics, Mandy, Wyatt, and support Ardana, Wart, CD of Venus. Check all my friends' campaigns.
Yeah, check out his friends' campaigns. Come on, people. Don't be grimy. What the heck's wrong
Go
with
on
you?
my Twitter and you'll see them all.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys. Well, thanks again. We'll be back on tomorrow night. I'll get the promos going. And since the lovely Mandy Summers is in our chat, we have her live Thursday night, 9 p.m., to discuss Wart the Wizard. So, Caesar, thank you again. Simon, you are always welcome on the show. If you want to be a guest host, you want to chat with us or anything, just shoot me an email, man. And you are now officially part of the Crowdfunding Comics family. And good luck to you. We'll continue to push your project and anyone else's that supports us. You support us, we support you. And bada bing, bada boom, that's how we do it. You know what I'm saying? So, everyone. Exactly. So thank you, everyone. Have a great night, and we will see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Good night, America. And read a freaking comic, would you?
Good.
Hey guys, thanks again for tuning into Crowdfunding Comics. We look forward to hanging out with all of our crowdfunding fans every time we go live. And don't forget to click the link below and subscribe to our channel. And there's a little bell. You may want to hit that too. This way you get all the great notifications when we go live and when we upload some awesome content. You want to follow us? Sure, go right ahead at Twitter at CrowdFundComics with an X, Instagram, Crowdfunding Comics, and Facebook at Crowdfunding Comics. Till next time, crowdfunding fans, we'll see you soon.